We're taking you inside one of the largest sources of renewable energy in San Diego County.
5 days of driving an electric car, how we charge it, including while on a road trip.
This unusual city has a date with destiny.
Plus, an underwater treasure worth more than gold. What's buried at the bottom of the Salton Sea that could power millions of cars? That's all coming up next on this special edition of Earth 8. Welcome everyone, thanks for being with us. I'm Evan Nurani and you're watching a special edition of Earth 8. Over the next half hour, we're going to take a closer look at different types of renewable energy sources and what the state is doing to address climate change. To understand the state's clean energy goals, let's first take a look at some deadlines. Now, by 2030, the state needs to be 60% reliant on renewable energy sources such as solar and wind. By 2045, the state needs to be 100% carbon-free, which would mean generated from nuclear and hydroelectric power. So what are some types of renewable energy sources? Well, there's wind, solar, hydropower, biomass, and geothermal, and we're going to discuss some of those in this special. So let's start off with wind. I got the chance to go to San Diego's backcountry to see how windy ridgelines are a growing source of clean power.
We can click on turbines and see what's going on. There's so many moving pieces, and it sounds like it's just kind of spinning effortlessly.
The U.S. continues to hit major milestones in the growing renewable energy market. That includes wind energy, responsible for a rising percentage of the energy powering the San Diego electric grid.
So as the air molecules cascade across that ridgeline there and they come down here, the air molecules become more densely packed, which provides a little bit more torque to the blades, which is why we have such long blades as well. They might not look like they spin super fast, but they have a lot of torque behind them and they produce very well.
In Boulevard, about an hour outside of San Diego and just off the 8 freeway, a company called Avangrid powers 57 wind turbines built in just the last few years. They span several miles, constantly sending clean energy to San Diego's grid with the potential to power thousands of homes.
For me personally, I enjoy the challenge of understanding these machines. I mean, they're wonderful machines, they're complex in nature, but they're also simplistic in design. So it's really fascinating to understand even the smallest things about them, the very small, tiny devices, how they work. That's kind of what gets me going. And there's a lot of challenging aspects.
And James would know. He's a plant manager of the wind farm, ensuring the turbines continue to work properly, turning a profit for the company, but also passing benefits on to the consumers. Jose Antonio Miranda is the CEO of Avangrid, saying San Diego County's wind farm continues to exceed expectations.
The most affordable energy is distributed first, and then the least affordable energy is not distributed. And in that respect, wind is so competitive that it's always dispatched, right? Normally it's always dispatched. And by dispatching the wind, you are lowering the bill of the electricity.
Beyond the financial incentives, there's the environmental aspect, wind energy being a clean way to ensure power to the grid and already providing about 10% of electricity nationwide. Here in San Diego, SDG&E estimates about 40% of the electricity that powers homes in San Diego County comes from renewable sources like wind and solar.
Right now, wind energy produced from turbines like the ones behind me accounts for the largest source of renewable energy in the state of California. There was even a 24-hour stretch where wind energy was the second largest source of energy for the entire United States, only outpaced by natural gas.
But for new generations, it's something absolutely not questioned, that the future is clean energy or not energy at all.
Overview of the entire farm in a single line.
In their office, the output of each turbine can be monitored, but they're largely self-reliant. The biggest task for the team on hand involves maintenance and repairs. Beyond that, the turbines largely adjust on their own based on factors like wind speed and direction.
It's done all automatic. The machine itself will automatically adjust the power, and then it'll feed the voltage correctly with the proper frequency onto the grid.
It is accelerating because we have offshore wind coming into the picture. Okay, and it's going to be a big one. And our company is very proud to be pioneering offshore wind in the U.S.
Wind turbines floating right off our coast may even be in our near future, a sentiment echoed by Governor Newsom and President Biden. If it moves forward, it would be the first ever offshore wind lease sale on America's west coast.
As we speak, new technologies are emerging and are accelerating this trend. That's why this trend is unstoppable.
In the meantime, more turbines are being built across the country to harvest more clean energy and reduce our carbon footprint. The same goes for solar and hydroelectric power, as all work to lessen our dependence on fossil fuels. And the U.S. Department of the Interior says that if that sale goes through, turbines floating right off our west coast could power 2 million homes. While these types of turbines are often more expensive and difficult to build, wind coming from the coast is often stronger than on land. Plus, with so many large cities centered close to the coast, the energy doesn't have to travel far on transmission lines to be used. And now let's talk about solar energy. The industry has ignited within the last decade. The number of Americans installing solar panels on their homes is expected to triple by 2030. And that's why President Biden is looking to boost manufacturing. The president has taken action by invoking the Defense Production Act for solar panels and other clean energy equipment. The move lets the federal government invest in companies producing clean energy and installing clean energy systems. The president is also suspending tariffs on solar panels coming from Cambodia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam, but not China, for 2 years. And if you're considering getting solar panels or already have them, you'll also want to hear this. The California Public Utilities Commission is once again trying to get state leaders to pass a tax for solar users. Now, right now, solar customers get a credit on their bills for surplus energy that they put back onto the grid. The new proposal slashes that credit. It would also tax users $300 to $600 a year. In fact, the less electricity that you use, the more solar tax that you would pay. Some solar users that we talk to aren't happy about that idea.
Is like charging people who air dry their clothes instead of putting it in the dryer. It goes against every principle of conservation.
Now, the CPUC is expected to vote on that proposal later on this year. And the first Target store in the U.S. to be powered entirely by solar energy is up and running here in San Diego County. We got a chance to check that out. Take a look. This is the Vista store off Business Park Drive. Target says that it's part of a push to have all of its stores operate on 100% renewable energy. Taking 3 years from design to completion, Target added more than 1,600 solar panels to the roof and 1,800 panels in the parking lot. Signs throughout the lot say that the panels are expected to produce up to 10% more renewable energy than the store consumes annually. And you don't have to go electric to beat at these record gas prices. Still ahead after the break on this special edition of Earth 8, we take a closer look at hydrogen-powered cars. Plus,
you may be wondering about electric cars, how to charge these, and how much it costs. Follow me over the next 5 days. Welcome back. I'm Neda Iranpour, and you're watching a special edition of Earth 8. So how much do you know about renewable energy? Let's test your knowledge here. Who was awarded the Nobel Prize for the discovery of the photoelectric effect? Was it Marie Curie, Albert Einstein, Thomas Edison, or Nikola Tesla? Don't Google the answer. We're going to reveal it at the end of our show. And now we'll send it back over to Evan.
Right. Thank you very much, Neda. With record gas prices here in California, many drivers are considering more fuel-efficient alternatives, and that includes hydrogen. Cars powered by hydrogen fuel cells are a key part of California's plan to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. CBS 8's Richard Allen breaks down the pros and cons of this developing technology.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I recommend it.
For San Diegan Q Lamb, buying this used Toyota Mirai was not only an environmentally conscious decision with water vapor as the only fuel exhaust, but also an economic one.
It's nice that you're not harming the earth, but at the same time, for me, it was a price point.
While a new hydrogen-powered car can cost upward of $50,000, federal and state tax rebates can knock more than $12,000 off that. Some dealers have even thrown in a fuel card for $15,000 worth of hydrogen fuel. Q says it costs him about $65 to fill up his tank, which he says gives him 270 miles, although other drivers say they can get 300 to 400. Drivers say that's a good deal as gas prices continue to drive upward.
So if comparing, to the gasoline, this is a much better deal.
Solana Beach resident and Toyota Mirai owner Michael Tang agrees.
Like when I bought it, it was like $4.50 a gallon for regular gasoline. I'm like, oh, still felt good about, kind of the eco-friendly vibe about it. But now that the prices are going up, definitely, feeling good financially as well about that decision.
These drivers also appreciate that it takes only minutes to refuel their hydrogen vehicles instead of the hours it takes to recharge an electric vehicle. There are now more than 12,000 hydrogen-powered vehicles registered in California, but the current lack of filling stations poses a major hindrance.
We did have a period of about 4 years where no stations were funded. And so right now we're working to kind of catch up.
Michael Tang believes more drivers will opt for hydrogen in the coming years, especially if gas prices keep climbing.
I think as the infrastructure gets there, definitely. It's still early days.
And that infrastructure locally is beginning to expand. A new hydrogen filling station is expected to open up in Mission Valley in the next few months, while 3 others are planned throughout the county in the coming years.
Richard Allen, CBS 8.
Well, we just showed you how a hydrogen-powered car works, but how about one powered by the sun? Well, a company based out of Carlsbad is hoping to have one on the road soon. It's being developed by Aptera Motors. Just take a look at this. The car looks like it belongs in outer space. The Aptera can go 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. Its electric battery can also get you 1,000 miles on a full charge. But what makes the Aptera really stand out is the solar panels, which could charge it enough to go 40 miles.
We've gotten it down to 355 miles per gallon equivalent, which in EV terms is about 100 watt-hours per mile. It's 4 times as efficient as any other EV on the road and 10 times as efficient as your typical gasoline vehicle.
The car is priced at a little under $26,000, and the company is hoping to hand over the keys to their first driver by the end of this year. And for those of you wondering about electric cars, but maybe don't have a garage or live in an apartment, this next story is for you. How often do you charge up and how much does it cost? Here's CBS 8's Neda Iranpour.
I got this electric car before gas prices turned historically high. So now a lot of people are asking me how I like it and how I charge it. Now I don't have a garage. I don't have a 220-volt charger. So I wanted to show you how I get electric power. Okay, we're gonna start our 5-day Tesla ride along with me charging ahead of a road trip. We're actually going to Palm Springs. And now that I am plugged in, I'm gonna go shopping. In about 45 minutes, I got 267 miles worth of electricity and paid $27. I'll go ahead and stop charging now and head on out. We packed up and my husband took the wheel. Properly inflated tires, according to my husband, provides the best electric efficiency. So there you go. Making sure everything is at its full PSI. It says 106 more miles of electricity left, and we only have 25 more to go. So we're good to go. No need to pull over, no need to charge. We made it with 78 miles left on the charge.
I'm really proud of them.
We enjoyed a night celebrating our accomplished colleagues. Then it was back on the road first thing Sunday morning. So the car actually gives you all the charging stations. So these are our options. Well, that was fast. Here we are in Morongo, where we're able to charge. We want to get all the way to 275. It'll take us 55 minutes. So I guess since we're at Morongo, we can go to the casino. 253 miles of charge in about 45 minutes costs $27 again. It's now Monday. I'm back to work. So I like to charge it up. It's Monday morning, and I like to get plenty of electric power for the week so I can go wherever I need to go. While I tried to nap, I earned 257 miles of charge, and it cost $15. Then by Wednesday, I was a bit low again. Here I am back at the Balboa supercharger station. In 5 days, I supercharged my car 4 times, and it cost me $85. Ideally, I would do a slow charge more often, but as you saw, I supercharge a lot, and that could affect the life of the battery. I've had this car for just over a year and a half now, and I don't see any signs of the battery impacted. For Earth 8, I'm Neda Iranpour.
All right, Netta, thank you very much. And there is, of course, a new demand for alternative fuel vehicles nationwide, and California is now leading that charge. According to the insurance company Quote Wizard, the 3 states with the highest interest in alternative fuel vehicles are California, Alaska, and Vermont. This renewed interest in alternative fuel vehicles is due to a combination of trends like rising gas prices and more charging stations across the U.S. Well, some are calling it a hidden treasure, and it's worth more than gold. Still ahead, what's buried at the bottom of Salton Sea that has engineers racing to dig it up. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us. There's a treasure potentially worth billions of dollars hidden about 120 miles east of San Diego under the Salton Sea. Engineers have known about it for decades, but until now they've never had a reason to dig it up. CBS 8's Steve Price went to the Salton Sea to find out more about the race to get it and how it could bring new life to the area after decades of decline.
It's the largest inland body of water in the state of California, but take a look. Even on a gorgeous day like today, there are no boats out here. There are no fancy beaches. This area has been declining for decades, but there is hope for the future because 8,000 feet below the Salton Sea is a chemical that some call white gold.
This unusual city has a date with destiny.
In the 1950s, the Salton Sea was a playground for the rich and famous. The future here seemed bright.
All of Main Street was full of businesses. Everybody was working.
Javier Amezcua grew up near the Salton Sea in the city of Calipatria. Now he's the mayor here, and it hurts his heart to see this. Boarded up businesses, high unemployment, and many of the town's people suffering from breathing issues.
Allergies are very high in this area, asthma, bronchitis, a lot of different pulmonary ailments.
Agricultural runoff, including pesticides and fertilizer, eventually turned the Salton Sea into an environmental disaster. And as the water evaporates, it exposes the toxic silt that is picked up by wind, spreading the poison into nearby towns. It's hit places like Calipatria hard, but now, for the first time in a long time, there is hope.
This is going to be a game changer.
Jim Turner with Controlled Thermal Resources says under the Salton Sea is one of the largest lithium deposits in the world.
We've always known there was lithium under the Salton Sea, but we never really cared.
Right.
Jim says we didn't care because it wasn't worth it financially for companies to extract it. But now the race is on thanks to electric cars, which use lithium in their batteries because it's an extremely lightweight metal.
One of the things that you really need for electric vehicle is no weight. Okay, you want to get rid of weight. That helps the batteries last longer, accelerate the car faster, etc.
The California Energy Commission estimates the Salton Sea could produce 600,000 tons of lithium a year. That's far more than the current world demand, and it could be worth $7.2 billion.
This is going to be probably the single largest area that produces lithium compounds for batteries in the entire world.
The $500 million project includes drilling a well 8,000 feet down where the lithium is found in superheated salt water that can reach 700 degrees inside ancient geothermal reservoirs. And steam from that hot water will provide another benefit: clean energy to power the lithium mining.
So the electricity that we need to produce the lithium will be our renewable electricity. The steam that we need, or that heat source, will be geothermal produced steam, so there's no emissions with that. Our lithium is truly green lithium.
Jim also points out that as his company and others build their power plants and mining operations, they will be covering the area's toxic dirt, preventing it from blowing away. And we're not talking decades from now, but only a year or two. General Motors needs lithium fast as it plans for 30 fully electric models by 2025. And that also means hundreds of new, well-paying jobs. And Jim says more than 95% of them will go to people living in the area.
We'll train people to be operators to operate. We'll train maintenance folks to be able to do the maintenance necessary. or we'll hire companies like PMC, which is doing this work over here to the side. They're local.
Imperial County currently has the highest unemployment rate in California, but those new jobs bringing in new money could finally mean a new future in places like Calipatria.
New businesses, restaurants, we're hoping more shopping centers. I mean, that's what we're definitely looking ahead for and hoping that that's what's going to come to fruition.
Mayor Amezcua has reason for optimism. Property taxes from companies with geothermal power plants already up and running along the Salton Sea have funded new schools in his city with state-of-the-art facilities. Now he's hoping lithium will continue to power his city forward.
I love the city. I went away to college, came back, so I want it to be, the best. I wanted it to be better than when I was here, for sure.
In Imperial County, Steve Price, CBS 8.
All right, Steve, giving us a promising site there. Still ahead, we're going to reveal the answer to our Earth Day trivia question. We're also going to explain how one nonprofit is helping local clean businesses thrive. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. It's now time to reveal the answer to our trivia question. Earlier, we asked who was awarded the Nobel Prize for the discovery of the photoelectric effect. Here is the answer. Albert Einstein. He received that award back in 1921. Now, the photoelectric effect is what eventually led to the invention of solar panels. Thanks for playing, everybody. Now we're going to send it back over to Evan.
All right, thanks, Netta. And throughout this special, you've seen local businesses thriving in the renewable energy market. And a local nonprofit wants to make that easier for new entrepreneurs. Clean Tech San Diego helps connect local clean energy businesses with funding, access to industry leaders, and tools that businesses need to keep building. In April, the nonprofit announced that the companies accepted in their Southern California Energy Innovation Network had attracted $250 million in funding in just the past 5 years. For more information on how to get involved or if your business qualifies, visit cleantechsandiego.org. And if you want to rewatch the stories that we just brought you, go to our social media pages, the CBS 8 app or CBS8.com. We appreciate you being with us on this special edition of Earth Day. We're going to leave you now with some beautiful area shots of Otay Lakes.